workshop session. The chairs aren't arranged like they usually are, because I guess Val didn't know how we wanted them arranged and stuff. Anyway, we'll get that straightened out the next time, but, first item is, discuss the adoption of an ordinance entitled, an ordinance supplementing and amending chapter 102 entitled Taxation, Article 2, entitled Ad valorem tax, section 102.27 entitled Rate of Assessment Purposes of the Code of Ordinances, City of Springhill, Louisiana, levying taxes of 7.22 mills, general alimony tax on all taxable property in the City of Springhill, Louisiana for the year 2024. This is something we do every year, and it hadn't changed, it's the same, nothing's changed.
It was 7.7 this was reassessment year, so it dropped to 7.22.
Think I'll raise it back up.
That'll be next, we can do it next year. You have to put, they do go through the roll forward process.
I just wondered if it was higher.
Next
You'll
item.
collect the same amount of money as we're in last year.
Discuss authorizing the mayor to enter into an engagement letter with Cook and Moorhart CPAs for the audit for year ending 6/30/2025. That's just our yearly audit that we have to do. It's just y'all authorizing me to sign the letter to get them to come do it. So
Two
that-
letters, Mayor, one's for the audit and the other one's for the statewide redefined procedures.
Okay, that'll be on there for Monday night. Next item is, discuss the emergency repair that we had on South Street. Mike, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we got a 8-inch sewer main that runs down South Street that takes care of all the west side of the sewer coming out.
Right
It's
behind the car wash.
Right behind the car wash, it's collapsed. And it's a concrete line, same as before, all this stuff's collapsing, falling apart, and sewer backed up in some houses. We gotta replace it and reroute it. Got it on bypass right now, to keep it from coming up to people's house until we get it fixed.
Is this a different collapse from the other one that was on
Yeah.
South Street?
No,
It's a different
This is the one on South Street, we ain't got another one.
Oh,
No.
Same, the mayor kinda let y'all know about it when we found out, we were fixing to start working on it. It's about 3 weeks to a month project getting it done.
We didn't know how much, now we know how
Yeah, we
much.
got an idea of how much it's gonna cost tentatively right now, until you dig it up and see what else you find.
What's the tentative?
About 95,000 right now, starting there.
It's a pretty big job. Okay, next item, that'll be on there, Amy Palladium, Main Street Manager is here to discuss expanding the historic district. Amy.
We have a couple, building and new building owners downtown, or David Smith is one of them, older building owner, a lot of you guys know him probably. He's been asking for the majority of a year to include the old hospital in the local historic district, because he thinks that it will help him in his grant writing process, which may or may not be true. And then back here, we have Frank Lofton
Yeah, I know Frank.
and Dean Stamps, you guys know them, they own two buildings in town. Frank bought the old Ford place,
Right.
and it's the same request as David to just expand the historic district. One road, it actually ends right in front of his building, so Main Street Drift is in the district, and on the west side of the street, the district actually comes down a little further south, but on this east side of Main Street, the district ends one, it's like a dog leg. So we're just asking that you guys amend the ordinance to include the Ford Marketplace building and then include the old hospital. Every building, I think, at least in the Main Street District, 50 years old is a contributing, it's a historic at 50 years old, so that's what it for us now, the 70s. So I think all of our buildings contribute. And I went back and forth with Louisiana Main Street about this, because Ray and Amber Cobb, who used to do my job, and me, all thought that we would have to qualify, like facing First Street, like the Springhill Post Acute, the old hospital, there's Furry Friends Dog Grooming, Smith's Auto. There's those 5 businesses right there on that side, and they border, because the First Street is in the historic district, but the buildings on the east side of it aren't included in it to what my understanding from the state historic office. So if you guys want to do that whole row, I'm sure it would be contributing, or if you just wanted me to do the old hospital, it's really whatever. I consider it, I've had a couple people think, why don't you go all the way down to the end of Main Street District? So historic and Main Street districts are the same parameters exactly, which would be all the way down to Don's Last. I think that Canyon property is 50 years old, but I don't see it as contributing, like historically.
Yeah, it is.
So
I think that would be pretty, I've been happy to serve on that.
To do the whole Main Street?
We'll do that on that one side.
to do the whole First
But
Street
do it on
to
Vision.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
So you wanna include, so if you guys were to do it, what he's saying is include all the buildings from, here's the police department, over to the nursing home, that big warehousey building that used to be Votech, those 2 businesses in there, and then the old hospital, and then close it off there at Reynolds, I believe, is that.
Yeah, well, the nursing home wouldn't be.
So not-
Meeting with regions, because that's a brand new building.
So do you wanna just?
What about the corner drugstore on the back side of,
Yeah, the old corner drugstore there. She's not.
I think the buildings on the back side of Main Street are included, because first, I'd have to look at the ordinance. I think it is, cause First Street is in the historic district, just the buildings on the east side of it are not.
I think if it helps him to get grants to improve our city.
Yeah, anything like that's good.
I don't think it's a huge ask, but it's a little bit of a change to our ordinances to include these 2 businesses. I don't know that it's going to change what, I couldn't speak on right now, really what grants it does get, because it's a local ordinance, but I would think that it would help with our national register. Because we're not, our only local grants are for the Main Street district, not the historic district, because this is a local historic district. Are we offering local grants for a historic district? I don't think so.
We just need to, y'all just need to word it, or we'll know when Shelley put it in.
you're gonna have to, well, you're gonna have to introduce it to amend the ordinance. I mean, Nelson's gonna have to redo it.
All right,
I don't think it's gonna happen for Monday.
okay.
So Nelson would have to do the amendment. So I'll need to
He's
figure
gonna be
out
the one need to word it, cause
But you need to decide.
exact, I'll have to draw up the map, figure out the exact parameters, and give it to Nelson, have Nelson get with me. So this thing, okay.
Okay. The more we can include, the better.
Our new business, would you mind introducing us, cause I'm not aware, I did see the trailer, so.
Sure. The Loftons are gonna do, you guys wanna speak for yourself, you want me to introduce? Okay. They are going to have a really cool antique car, business downtown on that Fuller Marketplace building. 75% of it will be an antique car museum, a nonprofit, and then 25% of it will be, water quality, water testing, environmental testing. He does that in South Arkansas and is looking to expand into the Louisiana side of things, so that it'll be a commercial building, for-profit and nonprofit in the steward space, which is the best business model we have going right now. And then Dean is outside my district, but he'll be working in partnership with him, and he bought the old Bill and Rouse building behind the hospital up there. And he'll be manufacturing boat parts, and in the off-season, he'll be manufacturing antique automobile parts.
Correct? Am I correct in both of those?
Well, I had somebody call me about that the other day, and I told him, I said, I think that's gonna be an antique car museum, so
It'll
that's
be
great.
very cool.
That's gonna be nice.
It'll be really
And I
good.
saw
for
the
them.
work y'all been doing up there, cause I'm over the Main Street 3, and that's part of the Fuller Center. And, really nice to see that getting cleaned up over there, looking good.
A lot of work left.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but y'all are getting it there, and it looks really good so far.
They're working really hard on applying for some state level grants right now, cause the work that they wanna do is a huge, they'll be doing a huge undertaking on that building. They started it clearing out the windows, clearing out the brush, so it's gonna be a really good remodel for our downtown. It'll really be a really good focal point when that gets done. It's gonna be a good.
Well, we have our water, dirty water solutions, you know, but we do our environmental stuff. But the car thing, it started off as, we'll retire, somewhere to put the car. really rare. There's a group called Shea International, and, they built cars for Ford Motor Company during the eighties, and they're a reproduction of the 1928-29 Ford automobile. Well, by accident, I bought the company. So, she don't understand, she wasn't real happy about it, but we've been sitting on it. Right after I bought it, COVID come out. After COVID, had a little dose of that, then I had a little stroke, and then I had a little bit of cancer. So we've been sort of prolonged a little while. But now it's going with Shea International, is, going to be wanting to hold, that we're gonna have a lot of their cars there. And they would like to host their reunion. They have a once a year reunion. There was only 5,000 cars built. There's right at 12,000 members. And so, once a year, they look for a city to host their reunion. And so, they've never had a museum. So, we thought about having, their museum based off of a lot of their stuff. And, so you would have an influx of,
Wouldn't wanna build a hotel too right beside it.
I know, we talked about it.
but, you would have probably about between 300 and 400 cars show up.
Wow.
Only bad thing, there's 2 or 3 bad things, I'll go ahead and tell you. 75% of the cars are owned by retired people. Retired people typically are a little slower than other people, and if they meet you, they like to tell you about their dog, their cat, their grandkids, their own car, where they come from. And, the other thing is, they always look for somewhere to go eat. So, and rest. So there'll be a 4-day event.
Wow.
And so there's a possibility you'd have an influx of several thousand old people to your town.
That's nothing wrong with that, Greg's here, so.
Yeah.
It's a good goal for us, that the cars that are, it'd be the same era of cars that are our history of our buildings, like when our buildings were built, is the same age as the cars that are running park. So it'd be a way for us to market tourism, and I talked to Webster Parish Tourism about it a little bit, and so it's a really cool plan for the future. Obviously, it won't happen next year, but if we can get our downtown cleaned up and our buildings painted and our people to invest in themselves, and we can attract a big international festival like this, that would go off once a year, would create a lot of revenue for our city.
Welcome to Springhill.
Yeah, both of y'all, you too, Dean, appreciate you doing, not every day we have, people come to put a commercial business in, especially not 2 people, so.
And that'll be manufacturing, so it'll be industry, it'll be a lot of jobs out there at Dean's Place, that'll be huge tax revenue and stuff for us too.
Really, really good
So
deal.
it's very cool.
We appreciate y'all.
They get her, just bring them on around to the hospital.
Well, just they can see it.
Right through that
There you go.
Okay, next item is, Derek, you want to talk about this GPS?
Well, I do, and it's not me, that's just, I've had a lot of my constituents and along with other people come and ask me about it. So I did some research on it, and I said, Ray, I'd really like to present some stuff to the council and us look at this. We put this on ours at the hospital, and it has definitely changed the way that the vehicles are traveling and helping us save some costs. My son has a large fleet, manages trucks, and they are now being, their insurance company is now making the cameras on there. So, and he says, Dad, he said, I can tell when those trucks need to be serviced, I can tell where those trucks are. If I need that driver, I know where he's at, even though, if something happens, an accident, it's easy to make sure we have all the data there. I put together a little packet here for y'all, and I'm just gonna go over this first part, and then I got one other part I'm gonna touch base on. This first part is what are the challenges for public sector fleets, and basically it is a fleet. Public sector, we're under constant scrutiny, and we have a lot of people that watch, but everybody does. Trust me, it's like out there.
We know about that.
And this is also something, it helps us account for our annual budgets. It's gonna help decrease some of the costs. It'll track when vehicles are idling. We stop that idling real quick, because they were leaving the trucks running, they leave them running help. It also is gonna help keep us, compliant with the legal and environmental stuff that's out there. Safety and security, that's for the guys. Good example is go to somebody's house and accidentally turn on something or do something that damages their property. And if you're not there and they try to blame you, at least we have proof that that didn't happen. Or if it
We
did.
didn't have our guys done that.
No, none of our guys have ever.
They have.
No, it's called human nature. It's just called being human. Public, fleets, are made of a lot of different, vehicles, so there's a lot of diversity there. We have dump truck, we have police cars, we have, a lot of trucks and things like that, so. You can also track assets too, such as lawnmowers and tractors and all that, if you so choose to do that. This is gonna, give whoever, if somebody needs to locate somebody, it's gonna help us do that. It helps control the issues that we have with drivers. Let's face it, everybody drives different. I may run up and hit the brakes. Danny flashed the lights at me the other day, scared the fire out of me. So, what I want y'all to look at is that second one, 10 benefits of using GPS. Cost reduction is a big thing, and that's where we wanna go. We are challenged as a council to cut and to maintain a good budget and keep costs down. And not always is that easy. It's also to improve safety. It shows the public and it gives the public the trust to know what's going on. And I think that's the biggest thing is the accountability to our constituents and our population. It's not to penalize anybody, because that was the first thing that came out of our guy, well, you're gonna penalize us. No. And
Do you trust the people working for you?
yes, I do, but.
It doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I do trust them, and if that's your argument, I don't think that's the good argument. The argument here is that if you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have anything to worry about.
It's not that. You got grown men working out here, and you're treating them like kids. My guys trust me, I trust them. If I can't trust them, I don't need them working there. And I mean, you've talked about that.
I know we have.
I got the best crews I've ever had working here.
Right, I'm not saying they're not.
And why? You could be across Springhill in 10 minutes. Like, you're not gonna know where somebody is.
Right.
Me and Darren and Robert know where most of our people are all day long.
Right.
I think it's a waste of money and a waste of time.
Well, it can also save us quite a bit of money.
How is it gonna save money?
Through a lot of the driving habits, we get reports, and I'm gonna tell you, Mike, straight up, and you know, this is not anything, but I get reports all the time of vehicles outside of the city limits. I get reports of.
You can go ahead and say it, it's me. I know where this is coming
about
from.
you, Mike.
It's all over the paper.
Well,
Everybody around here
Mike,
knows
I'm
that.
not talking about you now, I'm talking about, this is all across the board. And I was asked by my constituents and others to come to the council with this, and I'm doing exactly what I've been asked. Now, that's gonna be the council's choice of what they choose. I just brought the information. I would get a lot of research. The latest here, is right now, the increasing costs and subsequent costs. There's government entities are cutting about between 7% and 8%. This is the latest data that I've got, it's 2024. And, it also helps to, keep accident costs, decrease accidents. What's the cost? $15 per unit. If we do 21 units per month, $15 per unit, it is 21. This is not including police cars. At that point, I had to go back and check.
And I see where Mike's coming from. For the police department, it would be beneficial to us, and not trying to get crossways with you.
I'm not trying to get crossways. I'm just
Whenever
asking.
I had body cameras, Springhill Police Department was the first law enforcement department in Western area to have body cameras. My citizen complaints went from a bunch to a little bit of nothing.
Right.
If an officer pulls a car over, dispatch may not know where he's at, and he gets in trouble out there 2 o'clock in the morning stopping the car, maybe they can look and say, he needs help, and this is where he's at.
Right, he's down and he can get his
speaking on behalf of
And
my
I
guys.
understand, this is not a trust, it's not, I wanna say this is not a trust issue, it's not to penalize and fire anybody. But what it does is if you have drivers that are driving, or if that truck's idling, say, Jim Bob, we'll just use that for example, Jim Bob's out there in the city truck, he pulls up, leaves the air conditioner running while he goes and does something.
I know.
Just think about the idle time on that, those trucks don't get probably 15
And we've already addressed that, and that's both of them.
And that's one of the things.
Good monitoring, who's watching
You can run these reports, once a week, you can run it once a month, you can go back and look at it, but what it is.
But who would monitor,
Well,
would I be able to monitor?
You would be able to monitor.
He's got most control. Mine would be
We have,
able to monitor his
we have 4 people that monitor it and have access to it at the hospital. And we put it on our van with a camera because you never know what's gonna happen in that.
Well, I agree, that's different. They're out picking up
But we
people
put it
doing
on
it.
our pickup trucks too, and it did decrease our cost and our runtime. Plus, our insurance company came back and said, you need to have this on here.
There's only 3 people in my department that go outside the city limits. Myself, Robert, and Darren. And when we do that, we're going to get parts and material, we're doing city business.
And that's understandable.
And
That's understandable, but what I'm trying to say is that this is something we need to look at seriously. It's, for the 20 vehicles, it's $3,700 a year, $3,780.
How much would the units cost, Derek?
They're $15 a piece, they use
Just $15 for each unit?
each unit, they pop in there, $15 a
That's the
month.
monthly fee.
You don't pay for the unit itself, that's given to you.
And the
Okay,
morale,
now I got another question too, because I've learned with all the cloud-based stuff, is this gonna be like a cloud, and there'll be a
Yes,
software
yes.
annual fee and stuff for this? 'Cause
There's no software fee with it. It's not, it's.
I'm just curious, because we have that with a lot of the computer
Uh,
stuff.
Body
Oh my God.
and you got a good morale with your people working for you right now. And from what I've heard them say since they caught wind of this, it ain't gonna be good. They're all upset about it, they don't like it, all about quitting, not gonna work under these kind of situations.
All it's doing is holding accountable. It's accountability.
Yeah, but it's telling them, you don't trust, ask them, they're sitting right there, ask them. How they feel about it.
All three are like, I can't either, but it was coming, now it's, it's state mandate.
I could see it if you're in Shreveport, Bossier, where God knows where you can be. I'm not talking about your department, I agree with you on here. And my end of it, it's unnecessary. It's not that we're hiding nothing, we don't go nowhere. Y'all see us, Nicole sees us all the time, Dennis sees us. We're working.
I'm not saying you didn't work, I didn't say that.
I
What
think
I'm
it's
saying is-
unnecessary.
What I'm saying is that I was doing what
I
I was
understand
asked.
that. And I'm just voicing my
I'm doing what
opinion.
I'm asked, that's why they voted me there.
I understand that, I'm voicing my opinion for
And
my people.
I appreciate that, and I do respect that, and just with your gentleman over here too, Darren and Robert. Sorry, my brain doesn't always operate right here, but I brought it to the council, it's there now, and it's their choices as to what to do. I'll give you some information more on what it is, like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I know narcotics or detectives goes, there's places they go, people don't even know where they go. But those patrol units, it would be a huge safety benefit that, like I said, they pull the car over anywhere. I mean, it can happen to a clock afternoon, hour of the day. And the dispatch doesn't know where they're at until they get on the radio and say, hey, I'm stopping this car here. Well, a lot of times, if they come out shooting, they don't have that opportunity to say. So it would be a huge benefit to the officers.
And this world is not getting any safer. Although it's not, but it's not about, it's like Will said, it's about accountability, it's not about trust, it's about accountability, we all have to be held accountable.
Trust and accountability for the same
We got
thing.
GPS on the anyway, we ask you, because anytime we do something, it's gonna hit Facebook and it be live. So we already got GPS. I mean, we be off work.
That's true, Facebook knows what we are and we do.
We be off work going to get calls and doing stuff. We're not getting paid. But the first time someone see us, they like, well, they way over here. But at the county line hard, loving our job, we're gonna do stuff that's for the city. But we got GPS, I promise you we do.
And that's.
Because that ain't gonna change people saying that, so we don't need that to no way, but as we working,
Yeah.
we accused of not working, but we working, don't no one sit there and, apply this, sitting out there working. But the simple thing they can find, see a truck go through,
Yeah.
you get all kind of lies.
Yeah, I'll just tell you.
But people gonna believe it a lot before they believe the truth anyway.
You know,
Everything on Facebook is true.
well,
That's there for-
here's the thing, Darren, you give yourself,
Excuse me, John, what happened?
Darren, you give yourself a better accountability, and I'll give you an example. And I want you didn't do anything wrong. And Mike called me, he was upset, he said, oh Lord, help me, he said, I had to go over and pick up this mower, and they said, oh, there's something out there. Well, Mike he was doing what he was supposed to do. This is an accountability to not us only, but to the public. And that's the way I'm looking at it. So whatever the council wants to do is what I'll go with. But I did the part that I was asked to do. I did my homework, and you know, so whatever this council decides, if we decide to vote on that, it's
So
something.
it's how much per unit? $15?
$15.
How many units we have?
Well, in here it was 21. I went back and counted off of the sheet of our
Is that the police department, A1 department?
No, that was not including the police department because there was a issue.
So that was just strictly my department?
That was all departments, except that there was an issue that I had with the law. There was something I read in the law that I needed Nelson to clear up for me. It said police vehicles in Louisiana are not supposed to have them. So that's something that's in the law, but Will has just cleared that up.
The sheriff's office has this.
On
So it's good enough.
unmarked vehicles that are seen, then it's okay. So,
On marked vehicles that are seen,
yeah.
that's okay to have them?
Well, not on the
Undercover.
undercovers, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. So, it's up to this council, I'm not gonna take any more of your time because you got the information, whatever.
Y'all have any questions?
I'm just, like I say, I'm just.
So that's the information. That's all we've got.
That's it.
All right, y'all can take that information and read it at a later date, later get under consideration.
I apologize, I should have told you, when we spoke, I do have, and I have to get you the name, Ms. Malone, one reserve officer.
And I need to ask about the historic district commission. We need to put the historic district commission on the agenda for Monday. There's a big push. I have 4 names and I'm waiting on a response from somebody for the 5th name. We need to the state program wants us to re-implement our historic district commission, that we have to. In order to keep the Main Street program, your historic district commission has to be active. And ours has been defunct sometime. And so I got ready 4 names and I'm just waiting on 1 more name. If you guys want those 4, I can read them off to you, or you guys can hear about them on Monday. But it's just, they meet quarterly, and they're basically an HOA for now. Are you painting your building pink? Yes or no? You know, is your broken windows here? Yes or no?
Just get those names to Cheryl, put it on.
Okay.
No, we're not doing announcements, but I talked to Rex yesterday, and he told me they had 21 houses torn down at no cost to the city, other than paperwork at this time. So, congratulations and kudos to Rex.
How many blighted houses I'm getting with the city attorney, we got 26 houses, blighted houses in Springfield that belong to the Webster Parish Police Bureau. And, so I think we're fixing to see our attorney to write them a letter and tell them that they're gonna have to straighten their act up. Because there's some of those properties that have been here, they've had them in their possession for 7 or 8 years. And when I've gone through the police jury members that we know, the 3 that we have up here, and none of them seem to want to help. So I think we're gonna go right to the police jury. But we have 26 of them.
If they do what they wanted to do in the past, they want to ask them to donate them to the city.
No.
They don't need to be in the hospital business.
No. We just want them taken care of. We want them mowed, we want them taken mowed mainly. You know, I don't care if it's something. There's 26 of them, 26 of them. We just need to do something about it. Anybody else find anything to do?